What's up, YouTubers? This is Omar with South African Edge of South Africa, your Edge of South Africa host, and I'm back with another fun-filled video for you. And this video isn't really about anything particular. In fact, these knives are just sitting here for eye candy, so I can have something to do while I talk. But this is basically sort of like a confessions of a South African knife collector. I've been into this hobby for about 8 years. This is sort of like just a personal journey for me doing this video. I just want to kind of sit here and talk about why I'm into this hobby so much and what really draws me to it. Obviously, the knives themselves are a big deal. You're basically the concept of using a folding knife as a canvas for actual art is just something that is unique and definitely something that you're not going to see everywhere else. I mean, a lot of people want to obviously, do paintings or, use textile as a canvas. And the idea that people are actually able to use the concept of a knife as a a canvas to express art, to me has always been very, very, I think it's just genius that they're using this because it's a two-in-one. It's a tool, and and it becomes art in the right hands. And in front of you, you see 4 different knife makers doing that, and all 4 knife makers hail from South Africa, which is what my channel is really all about. I just think that there's something in the way of how South Africa expresses melding art and tool into one package, and the fact that it's something that you can put in your pocket and use on a daily basis, it's just a right combination and really just a beautiful thing. I mean, that's basically what it is. So how I got into this hobby, again, I pretty much just started out collecting regular production knives. And because I have a sort of like a collector's mentality, I didn't want to just go in and collect every production knife out there without any rhyme or reason. That I thought would be wrong. So that being said, I kind of figured that my knife collection should have some sort of direction. So I decided that my very first collection of knives should be Kershaw. I chose Kershaw as my very first venture into knife collecting. I thought that Kershaw came out with a bunch of very, very inventive tools at that time. And this was before I even understood that knives could be considered art. So I had this really huge collection of discontinued Kershaw knives with different steels, different materials on them. And I just kept collecting them until they got to about maybe 50 in all. And then once I got down to the point where I was collecting just about every Kershaw knife in existence that was discontinued, that had any significance in the knife world, whether it would be maybe a mechanical invention or an aesthetic invention. It was in my collection. I'd gone as far as I could possibly go. And then one day I just wandered into the Blade Gallery and saw all these beautiful, beautiful handmade knives. And the next thing you know, I became a South African knife collector and motivator. Pretty much just helping out all the knife makers. And actually, that's the reason why I'm doing this video, just to announce that by August of this year, there will be a special video. I'll be doing my first on-camera video with knife maker Henny du Plessis and his wife Ilse du Plessis, who's an engraver. We're going to do a special video on the 2 of them on camera with me. I'm going to try and work it out here on YouTube, where we'll do a split screen, and then they're going to talk with me about how they got started in making knives. Henny DePlesis is going to first talk to me about how he first got started in making knives, and then the second half of the video, I'm going to bring out a new purchase knife that I bought from Henny DePlesis with engraving by his wife Ilse DePlesis, and the two of them are going to have an interview with me where they're going to talk about their art. They're going to talk about the process of knife making, how they got involved in knife making, sort of as a way for me to give it a little shout out and a little bit of a thank you, and promotion for them. So on that particular video, I'll be presenting, I believe I'll be presenting 3 knives. The one that I bought, which will be the engraved knife, and you can actually check that one out on Instagram right now. Just go to Billet to Blade on Instagram, and you can check out that knife. It's about I think it's a 3.2 inch blade knife. It's pretty much the biggest knife that Henny makes. He is currently going to be going into making larger knives. But for now, I actually purchased that knife. Anyway, when you go on Instagram, you'll see a picture of a wolf, female wolf on a knife, engraved, beautifully well done. Just a beautiful work piece done by his wife, Ilse. So that knife is coming to me in August. And then Henny's also sending me 3 different prototypes that he's currently working on. And the purpose of the prototypes is to see if it... going to drive any interest for him, and going to see if it's going to drive any interest for him and his, and pretty much his business. He's currently looking to get some models out there that will appeal to the buying public, and I think I've already helped him with that in some sense. He does have one model that he's going to be pushing called the Rocket. Again, if you can see all this on his Instagram page at Billet to Blade. So if you're interested, check that out. Just be on the lookout for my video. I'll post another reminder on my Instagram website, on my Instagram website, OK Calderon. You can check me out there. Again, I'm just a South African knife collector, and now I've started promoting this one knife maker, Henny DePlesis, and his wife. I'm kind of hoping to see if I'll be able to help them in any way. I think that would be beneficial to them and beneficial to me, because I kind of want to see if I can reach out to other South African knife makers that are kind of struggling with promotion. Maybe whatever little thing I can do for them, I would love to. And maybe with the help of Henny DePlesis and word of mouth, if I'm successful at all in trying to promote his business and his art, maybe he'll reach out to his other knife friends and say, hey, you know what, Omar helped me out. Maybe he can help you out with your art, just like he did mine. We'll see. But this is another level in this hobby, and as long as I can move forward with it, then I think things are going to be working out really well. So, in any case, since I got these knives out, I might as well just talk about each one of these little by little. The main purpose of this video was just to let you know what was coming up on my channel, that there will be an interview between 2 knife artists that are brand new and trying to make their way into, the knife art making genre. Hopefully with this video they will be more and more visible to everyone. Maybe I can help get their name out. If you want to see examples of their work, again, check out billettoblade.com. Also check out Ilse DePlesis. You can check out some of her engraving. Both Instagram pages are pretty much one and the same. They tend to post each other's stuff on each other's website. So no matter what you do, you're going to see their work there anyway. So, if you are a fan of South African knife art, you're definitely going to want to check them out. because their work is just absolutely spectacular. Like these knife artists here. So let me just go over these knives. And I've done these knives before, but I figured since I got them out, might as well just go over them and talk about each knife very quickly. It's not going to be a very another half-hour video because you guys have seen this one. So let's start with the first knife. This one is made, and I actually didn't even bring these out because they were my super favorites or anything. These are just ones that sort of stand out in my collection. So this knife here is called a ball release, and it's made by famed knife maker and legendary famed South African knife maker, Des Hoorn. He has been around for years and years and years and years, and he is pretty much considered the father of South African knife making. He is roughly right in, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, he's in his 70s, still making knives, still kicking it, still doing it. This is one of 6 of his knives that I own. This is probably the best example of the best work that he has actually done that I own. He is one of the knife makers that I absolutely love. He's considered more of a true art knife maker, meaning even though what he creates is a tool, it's still, for the most part, considered art. So yeah, this one's called a ball release. There's so much stuff going on this knife. We've got a 3.5-inch Damasteel blade. We've got zirconium bolsters, a zirconium ball release with carbon fiber, lightning carbon fiber scales, and this sort of laminate right over it. This laminate is very exclusive to him. I don't think I've seen this laminate on any other knife maker other than Des Hoorn. I'm assuming it's to protect the knife. And then there's like this beautiful Damasteel back spacer. Totally closed construction. We've got some beautiful file work going on in the back here. It's just an overall beautiful example of Des Hoorn's work. It's just a beautiful example of it. Really, really beautiful work. The next one is kind of special to me. This was my very first made-for-me custom knife by Andre Thorburn. We've got this eagle theme going on with the white Westinghouse, aged white Westinghouse scales, and beautiful engraving on the knife done by Marguerite Thorburn, his wife, who did the engraving on it. It's an eagle, and actually what makes this knife so special is if you look at it, it pretty much looks like a bird slammed right onto the eagle, with the aged white Westinghouse representing the beak of an eagle. I thought that was absolutely spectacular. This is a front flipper, just like the knife that you see here. Just beautifully well done. Again, file work is absolutely spectacular. Very, very different style from Des Hoorn's file work, which is a little bit more fine work done, but both are done completely by hand. Des Hoorn makes all of his knives completely by hand, using handmade tools. Basically, that means that he made this knife by hand, and the tools that he uses to make the knife was made by hand. So that's something to think about. So, you know, if you've never understood why these knives are so costly, that is the reason. We're in many cases of the made-by-hand techniques, because they are making knives by hand, and they're making the tools that makes the knives by hand. So it's hand-by-hand technique on both ends of the spectrum, and that's why this art form is so important. As far as understanding. The action on this is just absolutely stellar, running on ceramic ball bearings. This knife also runs on ball bearings, but the fact that it is a ball release, which gives it another aspect as far as the deployment of the knife. It's not as drop shut smooth, but it is still a very smooth piece. So the next knife is made by Erucus Blumeris, and what we have here is blue Damascus bolsters, blue titanium pocket clip with the marble carbon fiber scales, and of course you have a Damasteel backspacer, as well as another example of file work. It's interesting to note about the file work on these knives. These are three different ones. I think I have to stand it up here, but you can see they're totally two different types of file work. You have to understand they're doing this stuff completely by hand. It takes hours to do that. Maybe I can stand them all up and you guys can see them. Yeah, so here's one. So you guys can see up. I kind of hope that wouldn't happen. But you guys can kind of see that the file work is so different on all three. That is a signature and an example of each of the knife makers' work. I wish I could get this to stand up. And that is basically where your dollars are going when you pay for art like this. Which is also another reason why I'm doing this video, because once I get the engraved knife, you're going to be seeing a completely different aspect of knife making that has never been done, never been seen before, because we are now in an age where engravers are coming into the world of knife making, and their work is going to start to become more and more well known and more understood as an aspect, again, of South African knife making. South Africa continually keeps pushing the envelope and the direction of knife making in a way that it may never have been thought of before. I mean, and it keeps on going up and up and up and up. I mean, first it was the concept of these knives are made by hand, then you had like file work, and then you had, you know, the combination of putting all these materials together so that it becomes not only a tool, but is also considered an art piece all at the same time. And you know, South Africa constantly comes out on top as the leaders of this art form, and it just keeps going up and up and up and up and up, and it never seems to diminish. In other words, what I'm saying is that there's always going to be something new in the world of knife making, and you're always going to see South Africa out front trying something new. So the last knife maker is a very good friend of mine by the name of Clyde Challenor. This one, and I have another, Viper that another Viper that I actually have also, which has ghost pivots on it. I think by this point in time, you guys are no stranger to that, because I've been posting those Vipers all week long on Instagram, and I don't, you know, today's the first day that I haven't posted them, but they're new in my collection, and you know, I'm kind of like trying to enjoy them. So again, you know, this one has a Damasteel blade with red carbon fiber inlays on both sides of the knife. We've got a beautiful midnight finish on this knife, and the pivots on the knife are silver. These silver pivots really make a nice pop on the midnight finish, as well as these like little tiny screws that pop on the knife. Now there's a difference between these three knives and this one that I'm showing you right now. This one is a frame lock. So this particular knife has certain challenges aesthetically for the knife maker. And in this case, we're talking about Clyde Challenor. Clyde Challenor really has to try and compete with the three knives you see on this table, make a frame lock just as appealing as a liner lock. But what I mean by that is this. When you take a look at a liner lock knife, I guess I can let these drop now. When you take a look at a liner liner lock knife. There's lots of room on these guys to show eye candy and to show art and to show what can be possibly done on a folder. You know, there's no question. You know, they don't have to, basically they just put the artwork on there, and it's up to you to enjoy and check out. You know, but with Clyde Challenor, he's a little bit more challenged. This is a frame lock knife. You really can't do much. Like, you can't put specialized inlays on there. There's no file work that can be put on here. It just makes it a much tougher job for this piece of artwork to be noticed as an artwork. So what Clyde Challenor does is he pretty much does whatever he can to try to make the knife just as appealing as a liner lock. So what does he do on this knife? Basically what he tries to shoot out on here, little things like the pivots are nice and super smooth, right, on the knife. And these are actually inlays. They're considered inlays, like this inlay of red carbon fiber is. That's what the pivot is. It's shaped a different way. I mean, this is basically an art piece right here. This little, in art form right here. This little pivot here for both of these. He's got it where it's super flat, super smooth. You can run your finger through it. You can't even feel the difference between the titanium here and the pivot itself. So that concept in itself is art. So we have to look at it that way. Again, if you notice on the knife, he's got these 3 lines up. That's considered art. The screws, these really super tiny screws that pop out, that is considered art, as well as the black midnight finish on this knife and the Damas steel blade. So when you look at this knife as a whole, there's your art piece right there. It's a statement. But at the same time, the knife certainly looks like something you could use on a daily basis. Unlike these 3, which I'm not saying you can't use them on a daily basis, and that's the controversy with becoming an art knife collector. When or how badly do I want to actually use these guys on a daily basis? You know, because they're beautiful looking, right? You don't want to scratch them up. You don't want to ruin them. They do look, you know, like something that you wouldn't want to use. Plus the fact that the prices for these are so expensive, and that's one of the controversies and one of the main things that knife collectors struggle with. In fact, I'm struggling with it with this knife. You know, if Clyde's watching this video, bro, man, I don't know if I can use this as an everyday carry. But I did, however, to my credit, use the Ghost Viper. The Ghost Viper version of this knife, or the Ghost version of it, to cut open a couple of boxes yesterday. So that one is now officially a user. But yeah, this one's going to stay a Safe Queen. And for those of you guys that are not familiar with Safe Queens, basically it's a knife that you buy, and you know, you look at it, you enjoy it, and you go as far as carrying it on a day-to-day basis when you feel like it, but you never really use the knife. And then you put it away at the end of the day, hence a Safe Queen. It's treated as a queen. And that's pretty much what I've been doing with these knives, because I do see knives more as an artwork than an actual tool. If I want to use knives as tools, I go out and I buy production knives, which, by the way, I did that video yesterday. Those knives that you saw in my video yesterday, I actually use all of those every once in a while. I pull one out, I use it, and then, you know, they go back in. But those are not Safe Queens. These and the rest of the other 46 that I have, unfortunately, guys, you know, if you guys are into custom art, custom knives, yeah, those are Safe Queens, and they'll continue to be Safe Queens. I can't help it, but, you know, my feeling is, if a knife maker wants to sell me a knife and they made their living, what the hell do they care if I use the knife or not, right? You know, just something to sort of think about. In any case, that's it for this video. I really didn't want to make it too long. I just want to tell you guys why, you know, very quickly, what's coming up in my, you know, in the future on my channel. that I will be interviewing my very first knife maker and his wife. So I really can't wait to look forward to doing that video. It's going to be in August. And I just wanted to bring out these knives to kind of explain how I got in this hobby. Just sort of a rough video on that idea. But mostly it's just to promote what's coming up next on my channel with Henny Duplessis and Ilse Duplessis, and how those two are officially two people that I am trying to help promote, and I want to see how far that goes. So again, in closing, like I said, I bought a brand new knife from Henny Duplessis. He's gonna be mailing that to me in August, mid-August. And then he's going to be sending me 2 more prototypes that I'm going to get to keep, which I'm kind of thrilled about. I get to keep those prototypes. So one knife that I get from him that I purchased, and then the other 2 I will be keeping. So I really cannot wait to see that video. In the meantime, come right around July 9 or July 10, whenever it is, I got a new production knife coming, the Yojimbo 2. I have been dying to check out that knife. I really can't wait to see that one and check it out. So that will be the Yojimbo 2. I should be getting that right around July 10. So I'll probably be doing the video on that day. In the meantime, tomorrow is 4th of July. You know, this waterfront's going to be absolutely crazy with fireworks watchers, and people are going to be shooting stuff off. I think that's going to happen here. I don't know. I'm hoping. I don't know if I'll be here or not, but in the meantime, you know, there may not be any reason to even leave my house, because I know people are going to be shooting off fireworks left and right by where I live. So in the meantime, happy holiday, you guys, for the 4th of July weekend. And again, in the meantime, whether you are a custom knife collector or a South African custom knife collector or a knife collector in general, whatever floats your boat, whatever gets you excited in the world of knives, you know, more hats off to you, and happy knife hunting. Thank you so much for watching this video, and I'll see you guys in the next one, and enjoy.